Okay, and so your parents may be trying to protect you from something that they know about. You know, because yeah, you know, guys are different, you know, than girls. We're really thinking with our hearts a lot of times, and guys are not necessarily thinking in that same way at that age. And they usually say that guys are quite more immature than girls are at the same age. So like if you have a 17-year-old guy, he's probably like 14 years old in his mind or something, you know, as far as the maturity level. So it's really not, it's one of those kind of things. And my dad always told me, he says, I was a boy once. I know what they think. So I know what I'm talking about. So I trusted my parents, and I kind of used to be a little bit embarrassed sometimes when they would prevent me from going out with someone, or they would tell him to leave or something like that, or they would question him and make him like have beads of sweat all over his forehead and stuttering and, you know, dry mouth, and he's loosening his collar and everything. But, you know, I look back at it now and I'm so thankful that they did it, because I might have gotten in a situation that I would come to regret that I could be looking at today and wishing I hadn't been a part of. But that's just the way it was. Okay. Now, as far as, okay, chaperoning. Okay. Chaperoning is something that a lot of you will probably snicker at and think, oh, that is so silly, you know. No one does that. But, you know, chaperoning is not a bad idea. Because if you're, like, say, on the younger end, and you want to go out with a guy and you really like him, your parents are okay with it, but still, it's still a little early to make that big, you know, break away from everybody else and go out, it's good to have a chaperone. That could be your older sister or brother in his state, or it could be an auntie, which that's something that most of us don't want to come along with us, because they're going to sit right between you and your date. And, or it could be your parents, because I've had some of my friends, they've had chaperones when we were kids growing up, you know, and the mom would sit there, we'd go eat ice cream together, and the mom was sitting there right across from us, you know, or something. So, generally, chaperoning is an idea, and it shouldn't be laughed at or scoffed at, because, you know, really what you're doing is you're getting acquainted with someone, and you're learning about the opposite sex. You're not there to have sex, but, you know, you're not there to make out. You're not out there to touch each other in certain sexual ways. You're not there to talk dirty. So why don't you, what's there to hide? You know, really, I mean, if you don't have that intention, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because after all, they're looking out for your best interest. Okay, the thing about age. Well, age is a tricky thing, because we all have different ideas on what we feel like is the appropriate age. I would say that it's every family's personal decision on that. Some people let their girls go out at 14 and date. Some let their 11-year-olds go out on dates. Some of them don't let their daughters go out until they finish high school. Some of them not until they're 16 or 17. Now, of course, I'm sounding kind of old-fashioned, because, you know, we see so many people just kind of hanging out and sneaking out and creeping and everything. So we kind of think that's the norm, but not everybody is doing that. It's just the people that are doing it. It's not the whole society is not doing that. It's just select people that you see in the media and out and around, but everybody isn't doing that. Everybody's not, you know, just, they're not going out, you know, at young ages. What activities would you do on a date? Well, besides having dinner night at your parents' house or movies, you could go maybe to a movie with some friends, go maybe to the mall on Saturday afternoon, maybe go to the park, maybe go to a ball game, maybe go to a school activity. That's a good place. But afterwards, you need to meet back up with some people and do something else, like maybe go to dinner or something. But make sure that whatever you're doing, you know why you're doing it, and knowing that you don't have anything to prove. Just be yourself. And about the requirements, I've already talked about that. Like for my parents, the requirement was that they met the boy and they knew him several times from having visited. They at times would ask for the driver's license. They wanted to check out, ask some questions, and then go back and ask again to see if he had the same answer. They would want to talk to his parents, and pretty much that was another prerequisite. If his parents weren't involved, then my mom and dad wouldn't be involved, and they would say that if his parents aren't going to be on the same page with them, that they weren't going to put me out at risk like that. Excuse me. Excuse me. And for me, I met my husband when I was 18.